Good afternoon and welcome to the Waste and Recycling meeting. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Both directors are here. Any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Nothing for me.
Okay, I'll move it.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, public comment. Do we have anybody?
There is currently no one online or in person.
Okay. And minutes. Did you get a chance to look over them?
Minutes look good to me, and I will move them.
And I'll second that. Update on uniform collection. How are we doing?
Doing good. I'm going to just toss this over to Brandon so he can let you know kind of where we stand with barrel delivery and what he's seeing out when they pick up everything.
Yeah, just to kind of give everybody an inside look at what's happening now. We're, I would say, 98% done with everybody getting their new blue and green barrels. The residents that do not have those yet, it's A, because of the road conditions lately, or B, because when we did the swap for the additional trash barrel to the new barrels, they weren't out for service. So there's a very small amount that we're going to take the next couple weeks and make sure that those are transitioned over the correct barrels. We did change one service day in Phelan, and that is only one route. So everybody else will be getting serviced, if you're a barrel customer, the same days as your trash, other than one route. And I'll get with everybody on that. We have informed all of those residents what day that's going to and who's going to be affected by that. But everybody else, including that route, all trash is going to be serviced on the same day that your recycling and organics are, which is what we were all looking forward to and really pushed for. So we've done that. But everything else is looking really good. It's going really smooth. We already have residential recycling numbers on the books, which I think is huge. So we already sent a roll-off. We're taking it straight to our transfer station, our Tier 1 transfer station, and dumping the truck there into a roll-off, condensing the tons from, say, half a ton to about 4 tons, and then taking that whole roll-off to Vertec. So we already have about 4 tons on the books for Phelan, which I think is really cool. Yeah.
That's some awesome news that things are shifting in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, if anybody ever has any questions about their service or their barrels, they can contact CR&R and they'll make sure it gets handled.
Okay. You have any other questions on that topic? Okay, so update on SB 1383. You were mentioning that we've checked all the boxes?
Yeah, so I did bring the whole order here. There's a lot of tasks on here, but there were 28 total tasks that we had to complete in order to become compliant with the SB 1383 requirements of CalRecycle. And like I was saying at last week's board meeting, we checked all the boxes finally. So the last remaining one was creating the agreements between the food generators, so like Stater Brothers, and the collection organizations. And so we had the one for Stater Brothers. The one we were having a hard time getting was Dollar General, but the county was assisting us because they do all of the health permits. And they actually did not classify them as a Tier 1 generator like we had. They looked at the regulations and they determined that Dollar General doesn't meet those requirements. And so they excluded them countywide. And so therefore we're going with that. And so we don't have an additional agreement to make. So we really only have one Tier 1 generator within our boundaries. So that's very manageable to keep track of. And Stater Brothers has been really responsive with data requests and getting everything compliant. So.
Well, they had already had a program for capturing the waste.
They were already backhauling a lot of material to be composted, and they forever have had donations to the community. Like you can go get, produce that's going bad for your animals. They've always done that. It's just now the state has created a bureaucratic layer with all of this that they want it all documented and they want contracts, and this, that, and the other thing, just to record what we've been doing in the community. So that's it. That was the last one. So they told me just to go ahead and do my normal reporting, and then when we have our next meeting, they'll see what the status of our compliance order is, if they're going to consider it done, or we're just going to have to wait out the whole compliance period. So we'll see.
Okay,
Nice, good job.
thank you for getting through all that. Okay, update on proposed collection rates.
Yeah. So this hasn't changed from the last time I showed it to you. Our accountant and their accountant were going back and forth on the definition of CPI in terms of the scale, because our index does not report monthly. It reports every other month. And the contract was not clear as to exactly what metric we're using. So we do want to clean that up in the near future about what metric we're going to use in that CPI for this. We ultimately prevailed. We settled at 4.3% CPI increase, and that's just going to be the rates across the board. The county has said that there's not going to be an increase in the disposal component. So for residential customers, there's no pass-through disposal component. I don't know if there's going to be an increase in the disposal component for commercial yet. So it is possible that the commercial rates could go up slightly if CR&R increases that cost. But I don't think that's happening, because this is basically what they presented me and they've agreed to. So we're just going to get clarification on those last few things, and then we'll bring it to the board for acceptance. There's nothing really we need to do this year other than the board needs to accept the rates, and then they would go into effect July 1. So when we have a beyond CPI or pass-through disposal component change, then we have to do the 218.
Okay.
And how many months of data were we gonna collect before we looked at rates again?
We wanted to have almost a full year's
Full year.
of data, so we're, I think, calendared for November, December to start meeting with the rate consultant again and CR&R's accounting staff to go through what is the true cost of service now that we've added these additional service levels. Because it's a lot. It's,
Well, then you'll know what the fuel usage is for all the routes, and the expected labor costs and all that can be figured out of what they actually are.
yeah, and you know, the better our customers do sorting and the less work Brandon has to do doing their sorting for them and additional transportation and stuff, the better we can do on the rates, because it just costs so much every set of hands you have to get into this. So we're hoping that throughout this period, we're able to get a handle on the contamination that's going on and do some aggressive education on that. So we're going to try like a neon green flyer the next time it goes out in April. Just a reminder, don't put everything in everything.
The videos too, right? We're going to be doing videos soon too.
Yeah, we're working with Mr. Fish Productions to do some informative videos on how to sort and a whole bunch of other topics as they come up, like overflowing trash cans, how to secure your containers, things like that. So as we make those, we will bring them to the committee for you to watch. And they're going to be starring.
We can have our own film festival.
We'll be starring our own Brandon McGill over here. Were there any questions on that?
Well, no, not for myself. I didn't happen to notice the picture you included in our presentation. For me, are we going to go over that again in this? You
Just briefly, yeah.
Briefly? Okay. I just noticed that there is a little bit of improvement, but not
Yeah.
quite, nowhere near close to being where we need it to be.
Yep, and then I think we skipped over it. We do have a community cleanup and tire day coming up on March 9th.
Oh, solid waste events, yes.
Yeah, so that one is from 8 a.m. to noon at the CR&R yard, which is over near the transfer station. Just a reminder, it's for residents only and only 9 tires. And if there's any questions, there's a number on there to call.
Okay. And as usual, you guys will be blasting it out on Facebook and
Yeah,
other places.
and it's going out in the bills.
Oh, good. Okay. And staff reports, are you gonna put the presentation there?
Yep.
Awesome.
So this is the same presentation we just did at the board meeting, so I'll be brief unless there's questions. But same thing, just, and this was in the packet as well. The number of applications are over 3,000 now, and the trends are staying the same as far as self-haulers and CR&R customers. Just a reminder, separate collection has begun, just like we just said. So just make sure you're sorting your materials. And then we had some pictures in there. So the one on the left was organics, but you can see there's like a paint can in there.
It is a little bit more green is what I'm noting though.
And then
As
the-
people are getting closer.
They're trying. I mean, some
trying.
people are doing it very well, it's just some people aren't doing it at all. And then on the right, that's recycling.
There's a lot of organic in there.
And then CR&R is working on creating a custom tag for us to put on the containers when they see that they are contaminated. So it'll look similar to this. They'll tell you which one was contaminated. It might be all of them. And they'll tell you what contamination they found. In the meantime, I think they're just red tagging it. Is that correct?
So we have a separate tagging system now where all the drivers have a red tag in there, and then there's a spot for them to write what they're tagging it for. But we want to move to these because these are very informative and people like these. So we want to just make sure that it's correct to our area.
Well, the nice thing with that is to give them idea what exactly it is and not just a brief statement.
Well, that's the problem is we'll tag it and people don't, they think maybe they put it out wrong or it's facing the wrong direction or whatever it is, because there's a lot of reasons to red tag it. I can, but once we have these, we're specifically going after contamination and cross-contamination.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And they can't get everybody on every route. Obviously, we don't have the manpower for that. But when they see something pretty egregious or they just do some spot checking, then they'll tag it. And hopefully the community becomes aware that, hey, you know, they're out there looking at this. We're not issuing fines right now. We're just helping people do the right thing. Okay, and then our self-hauler update, nothing's changed since the last two times we presented this. It's still the county. They're working with Athens on what they're doing at the transfer station, but there are separate recycling drop-offs there. So if you do self-haul, and once again, we do not need receipts anymore because we can get the data from the county.
And are they still aiming for 1st of April?
Yeah, I'm gonna schedule a meeting with them again to get an update, but that is their goal, second quarter. So hopefully April, May, they have that done and dialed. And it just takes a long time to go through, you know how it is to bring all of these new contracts back and forth and get them adopted. So hopefully that is soon. And then just the January data again, we haul a lot of trash. So 2,600 total visits by our residents to transfer stations, and 1,500 of those were unique, so people going multiple times. And I can see exactly who went and how often, and when they went, and how much they brought. Who goes the most? Some good data. And then we just went over this, the compliance order, we're done with that. And if you have any questions? That's a lot
Just a
of
thank you, a big thank you.
repeat info from the board meeting. And I think Cheryl Roden hopped on after public comment. Did you have any public comment?
Unmute. Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted.
Oh, great. Yeah, I do have a couple questions. On the application that you want CNR customers to fill out as well as self-haulers, is there any reason you can't use the customer list for CR&R to do that?
So, yes, there's a couple of things we're doing. We would like to have actual current phone numbers and mailing addresses for our customers, because oftentimes when people buy a house up here, they have one phone number, they have a PO box, or they're using a different address. and then 20, 30 years goes by and they don't update that with the county tax body. And so that's the info I have, that tax body information. I'm assuming if the people are getting their dump card, they have the correct mailing address, but if we need to contact them by phone number, we don't have it. The other thing is we still would like our owners who are allowing the tenants to self-haul to just authorize that they're self-hauling, so the tenant and the owner are aware that they need to be disposing of their trash properly. And that's the reason behind having the form. At some point, we will sunset the form, but we're not anticipating that in the near future. And then we are going to be doing master lists and cross-referencing all of our data sources and inputting all of that into the CR in our system so we can pull reports. But in the meantime, we would like to get the most up-to-date contact information from our customers.
Okay. Are you planning to do any of the educational materials, outreach materials in Spanish or Korean?
Yeah, we already send it out in Spanish. In Korean, it's a pretty small population to do that, but I mean, we can consider doing that, but I don't even know how we would get a Korean mailing list. I think that's the issue, and it's very, very expensive to mail out to our customers.
Okay. Do you have any plans, like as an example, something that would be useful in my household is to have like a 14-inch fold out that I can stick on the wall above the trash cans to remind us what goes where.
So what
Have you
we
thought
did,
about-
yeah, what we did in our office is we just
I didn't
made
hear
it-
that, I'm sorry.
we in our office, so we remember to do that with our sorting. We just printed out an 8.5 by 11 and just stuck it there. So I mean, if you need it bigger, I'm sure you could go to, I think Rite Aid has a copier there and you could make it bigger, but mailing out something that large would be very expensive and I don't think people would use it. I mean, you're probably aware, we've said this many times, people come into our office, they open up their bills for the first time, they grab everything that's not the bill and immediately throw it in the trash. So it's a cost versus value thing. If you need something specific, Cheryl, I'm happy to create something custom for you and email it to you.
Yeah, you can email it to my housemate who needs it. I know, is
Oh,
this
the housemate needs it. Okay.
I'm trying so hard here. Is this a good time for me? I have what goes where questions. Is this a chance for me to ask those?
Sure. Just give me 1 second here.
Hey, Cheryl, also, before you jump in there, I kind of wanted to just throw this out there for everybody to kind of keep in their back pocket. So if we have people that are so concerned with what goes where that they want to put a poster or reminder up, there's a 99% chance that you're doing everything 99% correct. So that 1% of what is making it through will be separated at a material recovery facility, because that's what they're for, right? To make sure that they separate correctly and that contamination is removed. Where we're seeing the problems is people that do it deliberately and don't care at all. So and I'm not saying don't do it by any means, so don't take it that way, but I am saying to go through, in my mind, to go through the process of printing up, I don't know, 5,500 papers for people to print up on their wall and then post up there would almost be counterproductive to recycling properly also. So it's people like you that are doing it correctly that probably have it right in the first place, and the contamination that you have is so minute that a MRF is going to pick that up in their residue stream in the first place. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Okay.
Although I don't want to get one of those tags on my trash can.
Well, I already wrote your address down not to put one of those tags, so you're good.
Well, my driver's wonderful, so and we bonded over Scooby. Now, okay, so a quick lightning round here. Just because it's some things that I'm confused about. I had 3-can recycling since the 90s when I lived, in Venice and Culver City, but this is a whole new ball game with what we're doing now. Coated cardboard. The Amazon and the Chewy boxes go in green. correct?
Yeah, those are compostable, but you can also recycle them. And when they make it to the MRF, they determine based off capacity and whatever else they're doing operationally where they want it. So just don't put it
So
in the
they-
trash.
They go in blue or green, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so if you have room in your blue or green for those, you can put it there. If it's
Okay,
like a
so like-
pizza box with food on it, put it in the green.
Put it in the green. Okay, that brings me to frozen. The box container looks like coated cardboard to me. That can go in blue or green.
The, like a frozen meal, like the
Yeah. the
Michelinda
boxes,
ones or whatever.
Yeah, like Stouffer's, lean cuisine.
Kids
Those are
cuisine,
coated
Brandon?
Oh, good.
We know what Brandon is eating. Okay. So,
Okay.
Brandon, where should she put those?
So those are going to be recycled still. And you have to remember, so you hear, oh, only old corrugated cardboard can be recycled as OCC. But you have things like that would still be categorized in a MRF as
Okay.
not Schedule 8 paper, but it would be O&P, paper bales. So that's still going to make it into the paper bales. Money is what makes the world go around, right? So as long as the buyer is okay with that product being in the paper bales, they're going to buy it. And right now the MRF's okay with it. So blue, short answer, blue. Lightning round, continue, go.
Okay, short answer, blue?
Blue,
Is that what I
yeah,
heard?
correct, blue.
Okay, okay. So the tray, some of them have plastic numbers, the numbers 1 through 7 on them. I know this because I use a flashlight and a microscope to find the number. Do those go in blue or
Tho-
black?
Those are recycle, and even the minute amounts of foods are going to be okay because the 1 through 7 or 3 to 7 grade plastics are picked up by what's called an optical sorter. So it's a computer that picks it up, and they shoot off an array of air to push it into a designated bunker. But that's all plastic,
Okay,
3 to 7
Brandon?
grade. Yeah, go ahead. I'm ready to
Brandon,
go.
this is too much information. I just
Blue,
want to
go.
know the color it goes into. Okay, all right, here's a real tough one. A half-full jar of rancid peanut butter. This is not my question, it's someone else's.
Well,
Where's
it's
the
sad
go?
that you have rancid peanut butter and only
That's not-
half full.
I'm asking on behalf of someone else.
I would rinse that sucker out. Scoop out that rancid peanut butter, put it in the green, and then put the jar with a little bit of residual into the blue.
Yeah, you know what, a problem we're gonna have on some of that stuff is everybody's on septic here.
No,
And
I didn't say
rinse-
rinse it down the drain. I said scoop it out, put it in the green.
Yeah, well, you can't wash it out though, so it's gonna be dirty.
Yeah,
That's okay?
don't wash it. Just scoop it out and then, I mean,
Okay, you can't scoop, all right, salad dressing bottles that are half full that need to be thrown out, where do they go?
squeeze it into the green and then put the bottle in the blue.
Green's gonna go so gross.
Don't waste
I'm
your
just gonna
salad
quit buying
dressing.
it. All right, see, these are questions when I'm poised over one of these cans that I'm asking myself. Dog toy stuffing that looks like old clothing, but is dog toy stuffing.
Because that's probably not labeled or the dog ate the label, I throw it in the trash.
Trash, okay. All right, here's another tricky one. Paper towels go in black, right?
Yeah, if you have like snot in them or bodily fluids, yes. If it's just you wiped your hand, you can compost it.
Green then.
Yes.
Okay, so food soil paper goes in green, and food soil paper towels go in green.
That's correct.
Okay, and coffee filters with coffee go in green.
Mhm.
Okay, how much do you have to wash metal cans?
You don't. You just need to get the bulk of it out, and you can usually achieve that by scraping it out.
Oh, yay. Okay. Plastic bags, those go in black.
Yeah, those go in black, or you can take them back to staters.
Okay, what about plastic bags 1 through 7?
Those are still going to be trash for now. There's no market for surf or 3 to 7 grade plastic bag right now. So ours currently right now in black. Short answer. Sorry, I talked too long again.
All plastic bags, okay. And then paper plates, I saw that little thing on the sticker that you're gonna put on cans, that it showed paper plates and cups and plastic that's compostable, or compostable, I don't know how you say that. How do you know?
It usually is labeled as compostable, and you would know because you'd be buying compostable ones. Typically, people aren't handing those out, and if they are usually labeled as compostable. They have like a little green leaf on them, and then majority of them, I mean, even if you use just your standard paper plate, that is still compostable.
Okay, so all of that stuff, and then the plastic ones go in blue.
Plastic forks, plastic straws go in trash.
Trash.
Yeah, those aren't recyclable.
Oh, so that picture on that sticker you're gonna put on the can confused me, because it has that stuff
Well,
on
because
it.
some forks are compostable, but they're usually labeled, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future the state moves to only compostable plastics.
Okay, I may be calling you back on some of this stuff. I'm
See,
still
you're getting
confused.
too nitty gritty. This is where the MRF, with their optical sorters, will get out the one or two items that you inadvertently put in the wrong container. So don't stress yourself out. Don't get sorting anxiety. Just do your best.
Even the bales, like the finished product, are allowed a certain percent of contamination. That's the crazy part too. So the contamination, 35% to 40% that the MRF takes out, then the bale itself is allowed 10% usually, depending on the buyer. So, like, yeah, you're too hard on yourself right now. You're doing great.
If we
Can I
ever have a
remind you that I get
contest,
one of those
you
stickers
can
on my
enter.
can. Okay, now, a question about pull-out service. This is related to Scooby, if you remember my stories about Scooby, my neighbor's dog. What is pull-out service?
That's where the driver will pull your cans from where you normally store them and put them in an area where they can load them into the truck. So for a lot of our residents, that's down at the end of your driveway.
Say, a lot of residents what?
That's down at the end of your driveway.
Yeah, I know where I put them, and so does Scooby. So I'm thinking, and that's $10 a month extra, correct?
I have to look at the rate sheet.
Yeah,
It's like-
I want to say it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
1049 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do I make arrangements for that, Brandon? Just call the office?
You would call our office, our local office, yeah, and then we would set you up for the pull-out service. When he gets there, he's going to come up and pull the cans down and then service those. So they're up by your house, he'll get out of the truck, walk up there, grab them, bring them down and service them.
Yeah. What I was thinking I could do is pull them back to my gate, bungee them to the gate, and then he only would have like 15 feet to walk. So I call the office to set that up?
Correct.
Okay. And then I know that the franchise agreement, and you're gonna be implementing the tags for the trash can when somebody doesn't do it correctly, allows for 3 notices and then it's $30 a pop. When are you gonna start implementing that? Are you gonna give more of a break-in time for people or what?
Yeah, we have to. Otherwise, everybody'd be getting a fine right now for the most part, except for you.
Oh, I know, after this lightning round, I'd be getting one too. I was confused about that. Okay, thanks for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, so review of action items,
There were none.
either prior or current, okay. And next agenda for the March 20th meeting.
I think it can stay the same for now.
Okay. And I think we're done at 2:59.
All right, thank you.
Yes.